But where we begin tonight is with a mystery solved. Why, if you're a Democratic member of Congress, you would want to fight tooth and nail against your own party on the biggest issue facing the country right now. There are as many different solutions to that mystery as there are conservative Democrats in Congress. But for the man who's become the poster child for Democrats blocking their own party's efforts to reform health care, for the lead conservative blue dog Democrat on health care, for the House's most vocal Democratic opponent of a public health insurance option, a public option that's favored by the Democratic president, by the Democratic Party leadership, by the majority of people in the country, by the majority of people in his home state, and according to new polling, by the overwhelming majority of Democrats in his own district. For Congressman Mike Ross of Arkansas, the mystery may allegedly, at least, perhaps, be solved. Today, Politico published investigative reporting about Mike Ross by a reporter named Marcus Stern. He reported it for ProPublica. If you're looking for a possible explanation for Mike Ross's stance against his own party and his own constituents on health reform, consider this. In 2007, Mike Ross and his wife had a piece of property to sell. It was a pharmacy that they owned and operated in Prescott, Arkansas, a small town that's about 100 miles southwest of Little Rock. At the time, the county estimated the value of that property at about $263,000. An independent appraisal done recently puts the current value even lower than that, at about $198,000. But when it came time to sell, Mike Ross sure did beat the odds. Despite that assessment at $263,000, despite the independent appraisal at $198,000, Mike Ross sold that property for $420,000. Cha-ching! The only licensed real estate broker in that town was just as surprised as you are right now. He told ProPublica, quote, "You can buy half the town for $420,000. Who was the buyer who gave Congressman Ross such a sweet deal? It was a company called USA Drug, the 15th largest drugstore chain in the country. If getting 60% more than its estimated value for your property seems a little fishy to you, you may have a future career in Arkansas property assessment, because it seemed fishy to the county's assessors as well. When they heard that someone was paying $420,000 for that property, they actually called the person buying it. They called the company. They called USA Drug's headquarters, essentially to make sure that there hadn't been some mistake. There wasn't a mistake. This drugstore chain apparently just wanted to pay this congressman an extra $150,000, $200,000 for his property. And USA Drug's payments to Congressman Ross and his wife did not stop there. On top of the $420,000 they paid for the property, USA Drug also paid the Rosses between $500,000 and $1 million for the assets of the pharmacy. In addition to that, they paid Congressman Ross's wife between $100,000 and $250,000 for signing a non-compete agreement. The company also then kept Mrs. Ross on as an employee at the property after the sale. All told, Mike Ross and his wife made between $1 million and $1.6 million. Again, off a piece of property assessed to be worth $260,000. It's not a bad day's work. And what's more, 2 weeks after the sale was complete, the owner of USA Drug sweetened it even further, made a $2,300 contribution to Congressman Ross's campaign. That was the most that an individual could give in 2007. Congressman Ross raked in more than $342,000 from health-related interests overall that year alone, more than he got from any other business sector. Since then, Congressman Ross has not only opposed the public option, despite what his constituents say they want, he's also pushed for language in the health care bill that would protect drug companies from having to negotiate for drug prices. We invited Congressman Ross to come on the show tonight to explain all of this, to explain whether there's a connection between the kind of financial largesse he has enjoyed from the health industry and his political positions in favor of those interests and against health reform. Congressman Ross declined our invitation. His office did provide us a statement which reads in part, quote, "Instead of having civil dialogue over true and substantive disagreements, outside groups are trying to taint a completely legal and respected small business that my wife and I worked hard for 14 years to establish. I welcome any debate and review on my voting record and my positions on the issue." Congressman Ross, it should be noted, is not denying the substance of this reporting, but he does point out that he disclosed all of this information on his financial statements. He says this is just gotcha politics. The congressman's full statement has been posted at our website today, rachel.msnbc.com, if you'd like to see it. Also, Congressman Ross, if you're watching, I hope you will reconsider your decision about appearing on the show to talk it over. I promise you will get a fair hearing.